Raymond Massey, Regional Sales Manager for Swartz Industries. Today we're here to show you the Swartz M6 Avalanche Mechanical Sweeper. First of all, the M6 Avalanche Sweeper is available in both a single engine and a twin engine configuration, as well as a squeegee type conveyor or a belt type conveyor system. And we'll explain more of that as we roll around. With regards to chassis, we've got several different chassis configurations. This chassis right here being a Freightliner M2 106 chassis, 138-inch wheelbase, 33,000 GVW. The engine in the chassis, with this being a single engine configuration, is a Cummins L9 with a 300 horsepower engine with 860 foot-pounds of torque. Our competitors offer a 260 horsepower engine with 660 or 720 foot-pounds of torque. So we're giving you that extra horsepower, extra torque for those heavier applications. A twin engine configuration is going to have a Cummins 200 horse engine with an Allison 2500 RDS transmission compared to the 3500 RDS transmission in the single. Some of the creature comforts of the cab. First of all, we've got 12-inch parabolic mirrors up front. These are optional. The standard mirrors are an 8-inch parabolic mirror, but we do have customers increase to the 12-inch parabolic mirrors for the most part. West Coast mirrors are remote control heated from inside the cab, so you have controls of in or out, right and left, as well as heat if you get into icy temperatures. Inside the cab, we've got power windows, power door locks, AM/FM radio with Bluetooth. The Bluetooth, so your CDL drivers can meet all the CDL federal requirements. Air conditioning, we've got dual steering and controls, which means a full gauge package right and left, as well as dual air ride seats with a Cordura ballistic nylon type material. Okay, of course the air ride seats also have lumbar support. Inside the cab, we've got our control system. The control system, first of all, is centrally located in the cab. It's also pivots, rotates from either right to left driving station. It has all the functions on it for all your water system, your lighting, all your hydraulics. It's also got down pressure controls for your gutter brooms, for your main broom. It's also got the sweep and standby switch for one button operation, and it also has what we call our Swartz Six Sense controls. Now these 6 Sense controls are very important when you're selling against our competition. What these 6 Sense controls are, it's a series of switches, 6 in total, that allow you to set this machine up to various applications or driver requirements. It allows you to customize based on your needs. And an example is you get into an application, you get a driver out there, he gets into it on Monday. He's able to put his gutter brooms down, set his speeds, set his pressure, set his lateral positioning on the gutter broom extension override. He's able also to set his main broom speed, his main broom pressures, conveyor speeds, whatever water he might want on, he or she, or whatever lighting that they might want on. And he just holds down button number 1 until it says 6 Sense control saved to setting number 1. Then on Tuesday you may have driver number 2 come in. He may be in a different application, or maybe he just has a little bit different preferences with regards to speeds. He can change those speeds, those pressures, change that whatever water or lighting, and then he can save that to setting number 2. Wednesday, driver number 1 comes back in. All he does is hit sweep or standby 1 sweep, and he goes right back to setting number 1. So you can save it to driver preferences, or you can save it to applications. You can say have 1 normal curb and gutter, 2 for leaf season, 3 for asphalt milling, 4 for chip seal. So that way you're able to move around to those various setups at the press of a button instead of having to individually adjust the sweeper based upon the various applications. Okay? Inside the console is also an LCD monitor. That LCD monitor has a complete readout and a picture of the sweeper. It's going to show you if your brooms are turning, they're going to be green. If they stall, they're going to be red. It's going to show you the PSI, the down pressure and a PSI reading of your gutter brooms and your main broom. It's going to show you what water you have on, where if whatever spray bar you turn on, they're going to turn blue. It's going to show you what lights are on, what safety lighting is on. Okay. It's going to give you it's going to tell you the speeds of your conveyor, the speeds of your gutter broom, speed of your main broom. It's going to tell you what's going on with that sweeper so you know what's happening at all times. It's got your various warning alarms built into it. Say if it's a twin engine, low oil pressure, high temperature. If your hydraulic system gets too hot, it's going to come on there and block letters, tell you hydraulic getting warm, reduce broom pressure. If it does that, it's going to tell you at 170 degrees, it's going to tell you at 175, at 180, it's going to raise the brooms automatically and reduce the broom pressure and basically shut the machine down until the machine cools down. So it's going to protect that hydraulic system. It's got hour meters built into it for the right gutter broom, the left gutter broom, the main broom, okay, as well as the water system. The brooms are also the PTO or auxiliary engine and the chassis, and the brooms for right and gutter broom and the main broom are also resettable. So you can manage your broom life, see what kind of life you're getting out of the broom. Big selling point of that control system, this CAN bus control system, is the fact that we've got a built-in troubleshooting system built into it. Basically a built-in ohm meter. You can check any function of this sweeper if something's failed and within 90 seconds pretty much determine what the problem is. You can check your switch to see if your switch is any good on the CAN switch part. You can check your input, your output, and literally dive down to where the problem is, reduce that extensive time killing troubleshooting, get the machine fixed, get it back up on the road, okay? Moving on back here to the fuel system, we've got a 50-gallon fuel tank shared by both engine up underneath the cab. Of course, having the fuel tank in this position allows us to utilize the OEM factory steps for easy entry and exit out of the sweeper. There's a 6.5-gallon DEF tank reservoir that is for the sweeper engine. For the chassis engine. For the sweeper engine, if it's a twin engine configuration, we're using a Cummins 74 horsepower that does not have a DEF system, has a catalytic converter, therefore you have no regens. Right gutter broom. Right gutter broom and the left gutter broom are both 49 inches in diameter. You have 5-segment disposable plastic blocks with 26-inch steel tempered flat wire. You've got complete control of this broom from inside the cab. You've got control of your down pressure via this 4-inch air cylinder. You've got control of your lateral positioning via this air cylinder. We've got control of the tilt via this hydraulic cylinder. Then you've also got control of the torque motor speed independent of either the PTO RPM or the auxiliary engine RPM if a twin engine configuration from inside the cab. So you have complete control of that broom. Another big plus is there's not one grease zerk on that gutter broom arm. Okay, we're using all of a Teflon impregnated bearing with bronze impregnated bearing with pins on it. So we don't have to have any type of grease zerks on it whatsoever. So we've been able to reduce a lot of maintenance there. Got a spray bar here with 4 nozzles for dust control and then an LED light for nighttime operation. In fact, all the lighting around the sweeper, whether work lights, clearance lights, strobe lights, air boards, everything is LED. Up here to the hopper and the dump system. First of all, the hopper is a 5 cubic yard hopper, volumetric. Depending on the type of conveyor you're using, whether it's a belt type conveyor or a squeegee type conveyor, depends on what your volumetric capacity is going to be. With the belt type conveyor, where it's forward loading the hopper, you're going to get it right up about a little bit over 4 yards usable capacity. With a squeegee type conveyor, you're going to get about a 3.5 yard capacity for a usable type. All right. The hopper tilts to a 50-degree angle. It's constructed of either a carbon steel, either a high-strength stainless, magnetic stainless, or a non-magnetic 304 series stainless. The hopper is raised and lowered either inside the cab or back here in the back by external controls, up from anywhere from a dump height of 36 inches all the way up to a dump height of 11.5 feet to the bottom of the dump door. To a full extension to the hinge point is 14 feet 4 inches. It's the highest high dump of any sweeper manufacturer in our market currently. The lift system, it's all 3-inch by 6-inch rectangular tubing. It's got a relief setting on of 14,000 pounds. Our competitor, Elgin, for example, their relief setting is set at 11,000 pounds. So we've got the ability to lift up a lot more material. The lift system itself, being the 3-inch by 6-inch rectangular tubing, has a design factor built into it of 3-to-1. Where we advertise our relief system, or we can pick up 14,000 pounds, this lift system is designed to pick up 42,000 pounds. So therefore, you getting a load in that hopper, not being able to lift it up, is gone. Okay? Some other key points of the lift are, first of all, inside the lower channels and the upper channels, we have self-lubricating slide blocks, where our competitor uses rollers. Okay, the advantage of the slide blocks are, one, they're self-lubricating, so you don't have to grease them. Two, if you get rocks caught in those channels, they're going to move those rocks out of the way and go up and down freely. Whereas if you have rollers on there and you get a rock in there and that rock gets caught on that roller, it's going to drag that roller and flat spot it. And over time, what's going to happen is you're going to mess with the structural integrity of the lift. The flat spot's going to be very rough. It's going to get a little bit of a sway. With this design, you got 4 points of contact at about 8.5 inches, so a much more stable lift, plus a lot less maintenance. Okay. The hopper, of course, tilts. There's an inspection door up on the side, and then a ladder right here to allow you to gain access to that inspection door. Or if you're going to climb up in the hopper to do maintenance, of course, you would raise the hopper up, install the safety props at that point, and then you can climb on in and do maintenance. Coming back here to the conveyor chamber. Got two choices: a squeegee type conveyor with steel roller chains and 13 rubber flights, or you've got a choice of a belt type conveyor with 13 rubber cleats. It's all variable speed control from inside the cab, independent of the PTO RPM or the auxiliary engine RPM. Okay, so that allows you to adjust it based upon the different applications. The big plus about this conveyor, and we're the only manufacturer that can do this, it is a patented type conveyor, which we have the patent number here on the side. It's we call it our Swartz quick change conveyor. While this machine that we're looking at today is a squeegee type conveyor, in 2 hours and 15 minutes, it can be a belt conveyor. You can order the cartridge from Schwarze, from your local dealer, and pull this cartridge out right through the other side, drop the other cartridge in about 2 hours and 15 minutes, go into your CAN bus system, switch it from squeegee to belt, and now you have a belt type conveyor. The big advantage there is you'll have some cities who are even contractors will have squeegee machines for use in their asphalt milling applications, then they'll have belt type machines for use in their street sweeping applications. Well, what our customers are able to do is order the additional chamber for about $18,000 when they buy the machine, and then when that application changes, swap the conveyor out. So that we've had customers be able to take their fleet size from 8 down to 4 with only spending an extra $18,000 instead of buying a whole new machine. So that is a big selling point right there. Air system for the sweeper. We've got a dedicated air tank back here for the sweeper. This gives you all your air pressure for your raising and lowering of your gutter brooms, because they're all raised and lowered pneumatically. It gives you your air pressure for your down pressure for your gutter brooms, as well as the GO. It gives you your air pressure for the raising and lowering and the down pressure of the main broom. It also provides air back to the air ride suspension. Okay. Now the air ride suspension on the M6, we utilize a Hendrickson air suspension supplied by Freightliner, but we do it a little bit different. Whereas, say, Elgin, for example, has a sweep and transport switch inside the hopper. What they're doing is whenever they're transporting, they've got it aired up to travel. When they go to sweep, they hit the sweep button and it deflates the air and sets it to a solid suspension. Gives you a very rough ride. Where what we've done with Schwarze is we've taken the air suspension and made it live at all times, with the exception of when you're dumping. But you don't have to hit a special switch to go in there to put it to a dump position. You just hit the dump switch. When the hopper goes up, the proximity switches indicate to the system that the hopper has gone up. It deflates the airbags down to a solid suspension. You go up, you dump, you're back. You come back down, sit there for about 10 seconds, and the air's back up to the proper height, and you're off sweeping. That total dump cycle, by the way, is 45 seconds compared to 75 seconds with Elgin, so it's much quicker. Continuing back to the main broom, we utilize a 36-inch diameter by 58-inch wide main broom. The standard broom is going to be a tube type broom. You have other options, a cable wrap broom, a wafer type broom, either full wire, poly wire, or a poly wafer, or a strip type broom with a chevron type mandrel. So you just have to specify which main broom you do require at the time of build. The broom is, as I mentioned earlier, is raised and lowered both pneumatically, both sides pneumatically. Also, these same air cylinders that raise and lower it also control your down pressure, okay? You'll see on the drive system, it's a direct drive torque motor. There are no chains and sprockets, same as on the conveyor, no chains and sprockets, all direct drive. And the weight of this drive system, we've put counterweights on the other side of the sweeper, which I'll show you here in a minute, that allows you to more balance out that main broom to reduce the amount of coning of the main broom and extend the overall life of the broom. The broom itself, the sweeping area down here, you come down, we've got our toe arms that connect the drag arms. Now we've done this a little different than some of our competition, is these skid plates and these toe arms are completely independent of the conveyor chamber. The big plus to that is if you hit a curb line or maybe a manhole, what's going to happen is the bottom of this skid is going to flex. And it's not going to bend the side of that conveyor, because once you bend the side of that conveyor once, it becomes weak. Even though you bend it back, it's going to be much easier to bend. So we've separated the two in order to reduce the chance of having that damage occur. Now the skids themselves, you can see I can step on that and they'll flex. What they are, it's a virgin carbide steel runner attached to this skid shoe via this piece of rubber. It's a piece of belted rubber. It's attached to that where that piece of rubber is the flex point, but it's also the weak point. So if you do catch it on something, really hit a curb really hard, what it's going to do, it's going to tear that rubber instead of doing any damage to the sweeper itself. Then you replace the rubber and bolt the skid shoe back on. There are these keeper cables here as well, which will keep the skid shoe from you completely losing that skid shoe altogether, okay? When you go into reverse, broom's going to come up automatically. You go back into drive, you press sweep, it goes right back down, okay? So that keeps you from doing any damage from backing up with the sweeping, with the main broom down. Hydraulic hoses running through the system. We use all flex draw hoses with O-ring face seal fittings, okay? The O-ring face seal fittings to have a 5-year, 5,000-hour warranty. Each one of these torque motors, whether it's the main broom, whether it's the gutter brooms, or the elevator, carry a 2-year, 2,400-hour warranty, okay? Now each one of these hoses, where they come up into the side of the valve bodies, which on this side right here is all for rotation function, the other side is all for lifting functions. Where these hoses come up, they are etched into the aluminum blocks telling you what that fitting is, what that hose is. So if you have a hose break, it's easy to identify where the failure is to pull it out and replace that hose, okay? Back here to the back of the machine, first of all, we have an ABS plastic cover on the back. Our competitors uses a steel cover. Of course, the steel cover, you back into it, it's going to bend. You back into something with this, it's going to flex and pop out. You'll see in some of the specifications from our competitors, they say that these plastic covers are not acceptable due to cracking. To my knowledge, I've never heard of one of these covers ever cracking. They've also got the ability, we could put this chevron type tape into it from a reflection standpoint for safety. Lighting on the back, we've got our aero board up top, LED type aero board, LED strobe, high level brake lights, main broom work lights, reverse lights, brake lights, turn signals. Everything's LED. We've also got various other lighting packages that are available. Just contact your regional sales manager. Inside the compartment back here, of course this is a single engine configuration, okay? So the hydraulic pump and PTO are all powering the function, all the hydraulic functions of the sweeper through the Allison transmission up front. If it's a twin engine configuration, there's going to be a Cummins 74 horsepower engine up here with a catalytic converter no DPF, no DEF tank, no regens, okay? 35-gallon hydraulic reservoir. It's got a 10 micron in-tank filter. We've got a dual fan system, cooling system here. I talked about that briefly back here up front about the cooling system for the hydraulics. It's got a built-in system to warn you if when your hydraulic temperature is getting warm. It gives you a warning once, gives you a warning twice. After the second warning, it will raise your brooms up automatically, reduce your down pressure, because 9 times out of 10, excessive heat is built by restriction. And most of the time that is the operator has the gutter brooms or the main broom buried down too hard, creating that restriction, okay? There is a low hydraulic level shutdown system built into it as well, a temperature sight gauge on return, and a filter restriction indicator as well, okay? I spoke earlier about the valve bodies, this being rotation functions, this side being lifting functions. Every one of the hydraulic solenoids, first of all, carry a 2-year, 2,400-hour warranty. They also have the LED DIN connectors to help you from a troubleshooting standpoint, to tell you if you're getting power to the valve. Got quick disconnects, pressure test ports here as well. You can also get it with the gauges already installed on it from the factory. Another big plus is we've got the ability to stroke the pump from back here. That's really, for you looking at safety. Your mechanic's back here trying to figure out what's wrong with the valve. He can come back here and turn this dial, stroke the pump, and manually actuate the valve to find out what the problem is, instead of having to have somebody in the cab yell and hit that switch. So it lets him have complete control of what's going on. Pneumatic air system back here behind this piece of plexiglass. That's the air solenoids for the gutter broom down pressure, gutter broom extension override, as well as main broom down pressure. Gives a digital readout inside. You get that same digital readout in cab, okay? Now the air going into the air system, we spoke about the air tank earlier. The chassis comes equipped with standard with the Bendix AD9 air dryer with an automatic moisture ejector. We've also got another filter back here that is filtering the moisture out of the air system before it goes into those solenoids to extend the life of those solenoids. This machine is equipped with an optional DC backup hydraulic system to allow you can dump the hopper without the use of the PTO or the auxiliary engine if equipped as a twin engine. Water system, electric diaphragm pump, got a restriction indicator to shut this pump down if the pre-cleaner gets to a 60% restriction, keep from pulling a vacuum on the head of that pump. There are 2 levels of filtration. There's a 50 mesh stainless steel screen filter that you clean daily over here on the right side. Then there's also a 5 micron filter that filters the water on the pressure side after the pump. Okay, this 5 micron filters, a good way to explain it is cigarette smoke is 5 to 7 micron. This is 5 micron, so it's filtered down and smaller than cigarette smoke. So it's taking those small particulates out of the water, or if you've got an area where it's got extremely hard water, it removes a lot of that sediment to keep your nozzles from being clogged up, to keep you from having to clean those nozzles as frequently. All right? When you do go to clean that filter, there's the wrench right there to take the filter off. When you're going to winterize the machine, we've got a Schrader valve here. You hit an air chuck to it with all of the water switches on. It will blow all the water out of all the lines and the pump, and then you open this pit cock on the bottom and drain the water out of this blue filter, 5 micron filter here. Individual solenoids, main broom, front spray bar, left broom, right broom. So you can control your water usage separately or as needed to kill the fugitive dust. And you can also clean them by pulling them apart, the nut off the top, clean the post in case you get one dripping. All right. Got a complete lubrication chart detailed out here. And one thing you'll see here is there are very little daily grease points. Got 6 daily grease points on the M6 Avalanche compared to over 20 plus with our competition. You've got main broom bearings on each side, 2, your lower elevator or conveyor bearings, and then your upper elevator or conveyor bearings. And that's it. Everything else is pretty much at when you do your PMs, say for changing auxiliary engine oil or chassis engine oil. okay, your extended periods. Around this side, of course, we have our right side broom down pressure control, raise and lower cylinder. There are the counterbalances that I talked of earlier that counterbalance the weight of the drive system on the left side, so you can better balance out the main broom to keep from coning the machine. We've got our water fill up here. The water, it's a 2-inch cam lock fitting, hooked to a fire hydrant. The water tank itself is mounted just behind this panel right here. On the single engine, it's 350 gallons. On the twin engines, it's 200 gallons. If you go to a cab over configuration, you've got the ability to add another 350 gallon tank in between the hopper and the cab. We also have a configuration on the conventional where we can extend the wheelbase from 138 out to 158 and put that additional water tank up in between the cab and the hopper as well. Back here, you have this door back here for the single engine. Of course, there's nothing here, but if you've got the twin engine configuration, this is where your air cleaner is going to be. So very easy access for maintenance to that air cleaner. Come around here, we've got on this door right here, you've got access to the conveyor system on this side for your greasing. We've also got some various options with regards to lube points or automatic lube system. We can either put either a 6-point or a 20 or another 14-point lube system to hit all of the lube points that are done daily or either during your PM checks. Or we can add auto lube systems on here for either the chassis or the chassis and the sweeper, okay? All in this section right here. If you get a high pressure washdown system, which is 5 gallons a minute at 1500 PSI, that would be mounted in this section as well. Around here to the hopper, of course, you'll notice we've got a 48-inch dump door. This is a little bit different than what our competitors do. Our competitor, Elgin, for example, uses a 22-inch dump door. But what they do is they have what's called a hopper side shift. They're moving the hopper over at 11 inches and using a shorter door in order to get that ejection into the dump truck. Well, the challenge there is, one, you've got more moving parts that have to be maintained, hydraulic cylinders, hoses, valves. You're also changing your center of gravity, but yet you're still not getting equivalent to a 48-inch dump door ejection. With this design right here, we can pull up next to a dump truck, leave our mirrors fully extended, as can the dump truck, yet still dump to the far side of the dump truck. So we can fill that dump truck to capacity without having to move around, pull mirrors in. We leave them in the same position at all times. Of course, as we noted, the hopper is variable dump height from almost a stationary bottom position to all with basically 36 inches up to 11.5 feet to the bottom of this 48-inch dump door. We talk about the total height to the hinge point here of the hopper door. When you raise this up to a full position, that hinge point is 14 feet 4 inches up in the air. So the highest dump system of any sweeper manufacturer out there. Okay, moving around here, got the right gutter broom. Just like the left broom, you have complete control of that broom. Now, when we talk about complete control, and I've said that about the right broom, the left broom, the main broom, the way this machine is designed where the operator is to have complete control of every aspect of the machine without ever leaving the cab. It's designed to where from a technical side, the mechanic has the ability to troubleshoot any aspect of this machine from inside the cab. So you're allowing the operator to stay in the cab, keep moving, increases production levels, and you're allowing the mechanic to get in there and troubleshoot it and get it fixed quickly when it does go down. Okay? At that point, I think I've touched on every aspect. The only I haven't really touched on is camera systems. The machine is going to come with a single rear vision camera, and you've got the ability to go with a dual, a triple, or a quad type camera system. That's all optional. Okay.